So there's no question about it. We are living through a massive AI gold rush. The money, the talent, the attention, it's all pouring into this one field. But what if that gold rush is actually a trap? That's the warning coming from someone who, well, really should know. One of the inventors of the very technology that kicked this whole thing off. So that was a quote from Lyons Jones. He's one of the 8 Google researchers who wrote the legendary paper, Attention is All You Need. You know, the paper that introduced the transformer, the architecture that makes things like ChatGPT even possible. The environment he's talking about, that's the special set of conditions that let them create that breakthrough. And his big worry is that the entire industry has completely lost that magic formula. Okay, so if we've supposedly lost this magic formula, we have to ask, what did it even look like in the first place? To really get why he's so concerned, we need to go back to the beginning and see what that breakthrough environment was actually like. What's so amazing about how the Transformer was born is that it was a story of pure curiosity. Jones says it was totally organic, a bottom-up kind of project. The ideas literally came from casual chats at lunch and just messing around on whiteboards. But here's the crucial part. When they thought they were onto something, they had the freedom to just go for it. No managers breathing down their necks, no pressure to hit quotas. That freedom, that was the key ingredient. And it's that very freedom that makes today's situation so strange. It creates what you could call the innovation paradox. Right now, we have more money, more resources, and more brilliant people in AI than ever before in history. You'd think that would spark an absolute explosion of creativity. But Jones argues the exact opposite is happening. I mean, just look at the disconnect here. On one side, you've all these incredible inputs, record funding, a flood of talent. But on the other side, what are we actually getting for it? Research is getting narrower. We're seeing a ton of rushed, tiny, incremental papers. Everyone is just chasing the low-hanging fruit, the safe bets that are guaranteed to get published, instead of taking those big, creative swings. So what's going on? Why is this happening? Jones says it all comes down to one thing: pressure. Immense pressure. You've got pressure from investors who need to see a return on their money. You've got pressure on researchers who are trying to stand out in a field that is just insanely crowded. And then you have that classic publisher-perish culture. All of this creates this constant nagging fear of being scooped, the idea that if you don't rush your work out, someone else will publish the same idea first. It forces everyone to play it safe. So how do we make sense of all this? Well, Jones points to a concept from AI itself that, believe it or not, perfectly describes the trap the entire industry is falling into. It's this fundamental trade-off that even algorithms have to deal with, and it's called exploration versus exploitation. It's actually a really simple idea. Think of it like you're digging for gold. Exploitation is when you keep digging deeper in a spot you already know has some gold. You're refining, improving what you've got. Exploration, on the other hand, is about searching for entirely new spots to dig. Now, any healthy system needs a balance of both, right? But what Jones is warning us is that right now, that balance is way, way off. And I mean way off. The entire industry is just fixated on exploitation. It's all about tweaking the current transformer architecture for these tiny little gains. Meanwhile, exploration, the hunt for the next transformer, the next big idea, is being almost completely ignored. And the really scary part? This isn't new. We have seen this exact movie before. Jones remembers the time right before the transformer was invented. Researchers were basically stuck just exploiting these older models, squeezing them for tiny, tiny gains. Then the transformer came along, this massive exploratory leap, and suddenly all that incremental work felt, as he puts it, a bit pointless. The big fear is we're making the exact same mistake all over again. And here's the real irony in all of this. Jones argues that the Transformer's own incredible success is now part of the problem. It's just so good, so flexible, that it has actually made us complacent. It's like we're all stuck in this comfortable rut, and nobody wants to take the risk of venturing out to find something that might be fundamentally better. Okay, so that sounds pretty bleak, I know. But this isn't all doom and gloom. Jones doesn't just point out the problem, he actually has a clear plan for how to fix it, a way to reignite that original spirit of true innovation. At the heart of his solution is this really powerful idea, this guiding principle for every single researcher out there. It's a challenge, really. Instead of just jumping on the bandwagon with everyone else, find that unique contribution that only you can make. Because if everyone started doing that, we'd be exploring the whole landscape of ideas so much more effectively. And this isn't just a theory. He's actually seen it work. He tells this great story about an employee who came to him with a pretty wild idea. Now, in your typical high-pressure lab, that idea would be met with skepticism. Don't waste your time. And it would probably get abandoned. But in the kind of freedom environment they built, they told the researcher, okay, take a week, go explore it. They had the time to do the science right. And what happened? The project was a success, and they published a new paper.
This also completely flips the script on how we think about attracting top talent. You know, we hear about these labs offering million-dollar salaries, but does that massive paycheck actually empower someone to try mad, speculative ideas? Or does it just create immense pressure to deliver safe, predictable results to prove you're worth the money? Jones argues that for the most ambitious people, the real prize isn't just the money. It's the autonomy and the freedom to chase those big ideas.
But look, this change can't just come from the researchers on the ground. This has to be a system-wide shift. It means managers need to be bold enough to trust their teams and give them more freedom. It means business leaders have to be bold enough to build cultures that actually value exploration. And yeah, it means investors have to be bold enough to back the companies that are playing the long game, not just looking for a quick win. Which really leaves us with this one final question. A question for everyone in the AI world and for all of us watching it unfold. Are we bold enough to resist the pull of this gold rush? Are we bold enough to turn up the dial on exploration and to start seriously looking for whatever comes next? In the end, what Jones is really asking for is a fundamental shift in how we see all of this. The pressure, the fear, the rush, it all comes from seeing AI as a zero-sum competition. But true breakthroughs, the ones that change everything, like the transformer itself, they come from collaboration and exploration. If the industry can remember that, if it can value exploration just as much as exploitation, it might just find a way out of the trap and discover the real treasure, the next great leap forward for all of us.